Okay, so today we have a review of 1 Million Lucky by Paco Rabanne. Obviously, another flanker fragrance to the original 1 Million. And this one has notes of hazelnut, cedar, green plum, patchouli, grapefruit, amber, and more. Now, most people are going to wonder how this compares to the original 1 Million. And there is some shared sensibilities, obviously, mostly the overlapping notes of cedar, wood, patchouli, amber, and the grapefruit. And those weren't really the main notes of the original, like the most prominent notes. So it kind of shares a heart, but it's just different from what is the most prominent or featured notes in there. It opens, 1 Million Lucky opens up with a freshly sweet, warm, and woody aroma, and the plum note sits on top of all this and is paired with a bit of honey and a dash of citrus. And you see this is still the same sort of ingot bottle, except this one's silver instead of the usual gold. The sweeter notes sort of are on top of the cedar wood that acts as a base, and it's all covered in a warm amber, that usual. It's not really a spicy warmth, it's just a cloud that has a creamy and nutty quality to it with the hazelnut note. About 30 minutes in is when I start to really notice the similarities between this and the original 1 Million. They're ultimately quite different, but at this stage I get a lot of the cedar, amber, and that familiar patchouli note. And then as it moves along, the hazelnut becomes more and more of the star of this fragrance. Ultimately, I get a mix of sweet plum and honey, along with the hazelnut as the strongest players within the composition. Projection-wise, it's actually not as much of a beast as the original, or even 1 Million Privé. It's not bad, but it's not gonna completely bomb a room. It's towards the upper end of the moderate spectrum, not heavy, but it's not completely weak. It hangs closer to the skin. You'll get about a 3 to 4 foot radius surrounding you when you wear it. Longevity wise, it's not that 12-hour plus that you get from the other ones. This one's about 6 or 7 hours, maybe 8, depending on the outdoor conditions that day, the weather. But when it does last 8, it'll be really close to your skin. It'll be a skin scent at that point. It's a versatile fragrance. I think it has the original beat in that sense because it isn't as loud, so you can wear it every day and it's not gonna just completely choke everyone out or dominate the room, but you can still use it for a nightlife scent, club scent, or out on a date. It's kind of a unisex fragrance more than just one simply for men. And this one really could be worn by anyone versus the original 1 Million for men. It has a youthful vibe, like early to mid 20s is probably what would be best to wear it. It can be worn year round. It'll work in the summer, and the sweet notes aren't going to melt in the heat or the humidity. It can also work perfectly fine in the wintertime. Overall, I like it. I'm not blown away by 1 Million Lucky, but I think it has a pretty unique profile versus what's on the market, and enough to separate it from the original in 1 Million Privé, but still retain that sort of vibe. I like the plum note. I think it's sort of a different sweetness than you find in a lot of other colognes. And it's just a good mix of sweetness, woody base, the cedar, and then that nutty hazelnut that gives it an understated quality. Now, do I think it's better than 1 Million? No. Is it better than Privé? No. Privé is the best in my opinion. This will be the third out of the flankers. So it's good, but Unless you're sick of the original, you probably go with other ones.